So I want to start with a little bit of a context in history. In 1998, wow. I accepted the call to pastor this struggling new little church planted in Burlington with a specific mission, to be a church that lived out the Great Commission. That's rather rare. Most churches talk about it, few live it out. But they were people who believed church should be a force in the world for the gospel, bringing those far from God into relationship with Jesus Christ. And as it happened, that was my passion in life as well. So God wired me for this, and when there was a group of people who were resonating along the same lines, I was bought in. We started talking in the fall, actually, of 1997, and some of you were involved in those conversations. That means you're old. But on the 1st of March, after the process was complete, I began this extraordinary adventure of Church for the Unchurched in 1998. Seekers helping other seekers to find Jesus and follow him in discipleship. It is the unique marker of this church. Always has been this way. Trust that it always will. I left my family in Kansas. That sounds worse than it is. Actually, Colleen had to sell the house. The kids finished the school year. And then we were united in an endeavor that would test us constantly and bless us bountifully over these years. I thank God for my family through all of this, by the way. No one could ask for more devoted, committed people. I do remember Eric, who was our second born. Josh was in the Marines by this time. About a year into the time here, saying, I never thought it would be this hard to follow God's will. He was a sophomore in high school when we moved. It was tough. Indeed, it's been a time filled with delight and difficulty. It's been holy and hard all at once. The church had a sound system in those days. That was its major asset. It had kids' toys, which were impressive to any bank you're looking for a mortgage from. And a few things. We had a rented office space in the basement underneath a candy store, which was the best part of it. Not the basement, the candy store. Because when the lights went out, we couldn't see our way out. Literally, it was, like being in a cave. So we were invisible in the world and trying best to find out, say, hey, here we are, kind of thing, and nobody was paying much attention. So the church had that stuff. They had 6 months of my salary in the bank, and upon that largesse, we moved our family here. But what they lacked in financial assets was made up for in commitment and in faith, and that kind of rock-solid commitment was what we built a church with. And for nearly 20 years now, we've done our calling, turning spiritual seekers into devoted followers of Jesus. Hundreds have come to faith in Christ. Many have become devoted followers and leaders in this church and in other churches all over this area and in other states as well by now. But it's been a great privilege and the honor of my life to lead this church. It really has. It's still amazing to me that God would use somebody like me to do something like this. And the more you know about my story, sometimes I think some of you are more amazed than I am. But I remain to this day just one beggar telling another beggar where to find bread. I've always thought of it like that. There's nothing so special about me except for the grace of God. And that's, I think, how this is best approached. So in my view, nothing could be better than this. Nothing could be harder than this. Doing church is hard anyway. Doing church like this is challenging in ways that nobody fully anticipates. And over these years, all of that has come to fore. We are, after all, fighting an all-out war against dark forces in this world over the prize of the human heart. That's where the battle is fought. It often doesn't look that way, but that is where it is. And those are people who, if we were not to do this, they might face an eternity cut off from God. It's difficult for us to imagine not just the glory of heaven that most of us will enjoy, but the unending, unchanging despair of those who die without that. I cannot ever get that far from my mind. So I say this in some ways, we play for all the marbles here. This isn't small potato stuff we do here. This is big stuff. So we do what Jesus did. He came to seek and to save the lost. Our feeling from the beginning was, well, maybe church should be about that too. As the primary ingredient of church, maybe that is the most important thing about the Great Commission after all. So next March will be my 20th anniversary at Riverwood. How did that happen? And 9 days... I've been reflecting on what anniversaries mean, by the way. That means 20 years finished. It's like when you have a birthday when you're 1. You just finished 1 year. You know, you don't get the award when you start. Anyway, 9 days after that, I will be 70 years old. How'd that happen? I'm thinking my mom was lying or something on the birth certificate. You know, I don't know exactly. But I look in the mirror and I think I'm in total denial. I don't feel like that. I don't think I look like that. But then every once in a while people remind me, oh yeah, really, it's worse than you think. So, but for several years now I've been talking to the leaders in the church about transition and what that would look like. It included the development of a teaching team and the hope that as this went along, a leader might emerge that could lead the church forward. I had no idea who, and literally I really did not have any idea who. But in the past few months, that process has led us to some conclusions that Steve will present shortly as the chair of the board. It's a plan to move the church forward with the same mission as before, but with new leadership. So today, I'm announcing my retirement. I don't know what that looks like exactly. I'm not buying a boat. I know that. I don't know. I don't see myself sitting around fishing a lot. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not my gig. So I may find a fishing pole somewhere, but that's not the core of. I've got things to do. It's also my resignation as your pastor and the leader of Riverwood Church. When I came here all those years ago, I was convinced beyond doubt that it was God's will that I be here. And I'm just as equally convinced that this is the right time for this decision. So let me make a couple of things clear. Colleen and I are not leaving the church, but but it will look like I have for some time. I've been thinking about this. In my original contract with the church, I was offered a sabbatical every 6 years for 3 months, which means they owe me 3, and I've never taken any of them. So I'm going to do it now. So anyway, I'm going to take a back seat. Literally, I will be invisible. Colleen will be visible. That could be a function of personality style. I don't know, but that's kind of the way it's going to work. And I'm going to be working in the background, coaching, and so. But in order to make what we're about to do next successful, I think it's important that I remain invisible. So, but on the other hand, I could use some rest. And there are things God, I think, has been beckoning me to do for some time now, and this is an opportunity to do those things. So I just wanted to take a moment with an illustration to thank those who have made this possible all these years. A few years ago, the film series Band of Brothers hit the screen. It was about a squad of soldiers drawn together by the shared experience of life and death in a conflict in a world at war. It was riveting. Victory and loss, life and death were their normal experience every day. And they formed a bond that only they could understand, that lasted the rest of their lives, really. They had given themselves to a mission to save the world, but along the way they had given themselves in commitment to each other. They trusted each other with life itself. And when you talk to people who have been through that experience, there is nobody who knows it like they do. It forms a bond that is not shared any other way. But I want you to know many of you have been that for Colleen and me through these years. And we treasure that friendship.
Can I come up by you?
I don't know if that's safe or not. Yeah, just pause for a moment. We will in a minute.
Then I want to give you a hug, Kate.
We got all day.
Okay.
But I want you to know that we couldn't have stayed in this battle for all these years without you joining us in the foxhole. I have literally seen this as that all these years. This is warfare, friends, and church is warfare. The Bible never describes it otherwise. It's warfare against dark forces in the world. And the prize is we who are humans And some of those of us who are found understand perhaps better than those who are still not. But your commitment to Jesus, to this mission, to us, has often been the one thing that kept us going. Over the years, there have been a few people where I've said, you go, I go. We have nothing left. And some of you know exactly what I mean when I say that. So we're grateful. And we're honored that you have been so faithful to God and such friends to us all these years. So, Steve.
Josh.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So on behalf of the Riverwood family, I'd like to thank you and Colleen for your guidance, your shepherding for the past 20 years. May you and Colleen continue to serve God in your new direction that He takes you. May you have good health, relax, and enjoy your family and friends. You will be missed. Remember, it's only 3 months, and then you're back. We are truly thankful, though, for your vision, your commitment, your passion, and your perseverance to the mission God laid out upon your heart when He brought you here to Riverwood. And some of you don't know, but I was here on some of those initial stages. I came in when Bob just started. So I've been with Bob for a long time. So we accept your resignation and pray for the next chapter in your life. Steve?
Todd.
Josh?
Todd.
It's amazing, isn't it? Hard, a little bit. Emotional, a little bit. Bob mentioned that we've been talking about this for some time, and we have been. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it really has been quite a while that we've been talking about a transition phase and the future of Riverwood. And I've been involved since, 2007, something like that, 2008. I've been on the board for a while, and I'm privileged to be chairman of the board under the boardwalk. Anybody? Okay. One thing I have to say to you is that this may seem hard and sudden, but like I said, we've been talking about this as an elder board for a long time. And the one thing about the elder board with this church, on all the elder boards, but particularly this one here with Todd, Jake, and Bob. Bob is also an elder. Tony on the board as treasurer. Any decisions that have been made, let me put it this way, it's not a democracy, right? It's not. It's not 3-1 in favor or 2-2, we have a tie, we can't do anything. It's not like that. The elder board of this church is 100% agreement, or we continue talking, or 100% disagreement and we stop talking about it. That's something that I said we needed to do when I became chairman, and we do that. So the elders are in agreement with all of this. And yeah, it's going to be hard. But you know what? It's exciting too. Bob may be gone for a little while. We may not see him for a little while. But I don't know. If we start offering root beer floats on, once a month, he'll probably show up. I don't know where that came from. So what I'd like to do is just kind of explain the transition here and what's going to happen with staff and whatnot. As Bob mentioned, he is going to remain as a mentor for the teaching team. Maybe some preaching here and there. We'll see how it goes. And if you haven't already kind of figured that out, we are naming Josh as interim pastor. And I am extremely excited and looking forward to that. I remember Josh when we first got here, and he was up there on that side playing guitar, And Bob was doing some sort of scat thing about Paul. I don't know. It was some weird thing. As is normal, you know. But I see such growth in Josh. The board sees such growth in Josh. We are 100% behind him in this. It's going to take prayer. It's going to take a lot from us as the congregation and members of Riverwood and staff and elder board. But it's going to be exciting. It really is. It's going to be fun. To that end, then, we also have Emily, who is going to be the events coordinator, children's education and weekend coordinator, and Montessori school director. Now, it sounds like a lot of stuff for Emily, but that's just a drop in the bucket for her. She can juggle spin so many plates. How does that work? She's just amazing. And Kelly will remain in the office management and the financial secretary. So during this time, pastoral and teaching team continues their role over ministries and teaching, and the elder board, now again, Bob was an elder, so we are actually losing an elder. The elder board remains the governing board over policy, procedures, and discipline. This isn't any different than it's been. Nothing is really changing for the operation of the church other than one person, really. Okay? So this time frame is going to be a 6-month period, an interim period of 6 months. We thought that would be a good thing for us to see if we are following God's will here, as Josh talked about in his message today. And then after that 6-month period, there will be a 30-day window for feedback and assessment on this part of the church family. That would be from you to the elders. And then in December, the elder board will make a decision. One of two things will happen in December. We would commission Josh to continue as a lead pastor of Riverwood Church, or we would commission a search team to seek a new leader for Riverwood Church. The mission continues to turn seekers into fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ. That's what we're about. The Great Commission, the Great Commandment, that's Riverwood Church. We have an awesome team here, and that includes all of you as members. You have selected yourselves to be members of this church, and it's awesome. What happens here is incredible. More people need to see it. More people need to know it and find God here. We've had a lot of them here. I don't even know how many. Hundreds, probably in the last 20 years. Hundreds. Or 24, whatever it's been that this building has been in existence. The future is incredibly awesome. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because whatever. This is what I believe. And we believe we are following God's will here, and I am just looking forward to this whole thing. So what I'd like to do is have Josh come up, talk just for a few minutes. I think I'm going to give him 30 seconds. So if you multiply that by 3, that's a minute and a half.
All right. He said originally 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, right.
You've
two.
You've already talked for half an hour.
Try
so
two.
So go ahead and deal with it.
If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a little bit more brief. When I say I'll be done in 10, I really mean 5. When my father says he'll be done in 10, he really means 30. But I just wanted to talk about what will change and what won't. Obviously, we are two different people. That means a leadership style change. That's the way it is. I'm a little bit more direct. I am a little bit more in the do process. Do. And, yeah, it kind of looks like doo-doo. But God is trusting us with this church to tell people in this area that they're loved beyond anything that they could possibly imagine, to tell them that He is waiting for them and searching for them. All they need to do is reach out and take the gift that He's given. Tell them that they are infinitely valuable to God because He sent His Son for them. But it's not just enough to tell them that. See, Riverwood must show it. Because God searched for us, we will search for them. Because God placed infinite value in us, they are infinitely valuable to us. And how we walk with the broken speaks louder than how we sit with the great. When my dad told me he was done and he was going to retire, I realized two things. One, that it was time for me to make a choice on what God was calling me to do, either do it or walk away. And two, that mission could die if somebody that did not come from it take it on. Because you never know what you're going to get when you seek a new senior leader. And I think that God has called me to do this, and Kelly and I are in agreement that we are going to move forward with this. And what Riverwood is to us, what it was to us, will be what it is in the future. But we don't do that alone. See, our job would be to lead, to teach, to equip. It's your job. It's your job to invite, to minister, to shepherd, to lead by example. And that's what this church is about. And that's what it'll stay. So I believe I'm bringing up Steve for this finish here.
Okay. So what I'd like to do, Josh, Kelly, if you would, seats up front, please. And now I'd like to ask current board and their spouses to come up on stage. We're going to pray over Josh and Kelly. Current board and their spouses. If you are here and you are a former board member, former elder, former spouse of an, not former spouse of an elder, spouse of a former elder, is that a Freudian slip? I don't know. I'd like you to come up on stage. Squeeze through here. All right. So we're going to pray for Josh and Kelly. I'm going to start. If you have anything you would like to pray. Oh, where is Emily? Emily? Emily and Dan, both of you.
Yes.
I forgot to say staff. I'm sorry. Emily and Dan. Thank you. So I'm going to start. If any of you have anything else you'd like to say or pray, please do so, and then I'll have Todd close. And then Todd will finish it off here today. Father God, you are amazing. You're amazing in what you call us to do when we have no clue at all what that might be. And I'm amazed at the commitment that we have when we say yes to your call. And saying yes is a risky business, and you know that for us, because there is stuff out there that's going to sidetrack us, stuff out there that's going to pull us away from what you have us and what you want us to do. So I just pray for your hand of protection, first of all, upon Josh and Kelly, because this is a partnership in this. It's not just Josh. It's Josh and Kelly. They do this together. You have always used man and woman, man and wife. It's them together. I pray your hand of protection upon them. I pray your hand of safety. I pray for blessings in abundance beyond our need as we follow you according to your plan, that you would speak to us loudly. Speak to Josh loudly, speak to Kelly loudly about your plan. Help us to move forward. Help us to minister to the unchurched, the seekers in this community. Bring them into saving knowledge of you through the ministry of this church as led by this staff and this team standing before you. We humbly submit ourselves to you, and we commit these plans to you for their success.
Dear Lord, we just we thank you today for your provisions, that you are the great provider, that you have plans that you have set in motion years, months, decades ago, that you have placed Josh and Kelly in our midst, Lord, that they didn't even know your plan. But your plan came to fruition. Why? Because Josh and Kelly have been faithful. They've been obedient, and they've been committed. It wasn't a plan that they saw, but Lord, they were committed to you. They were obedient, and they took this call. We'd be remiss in not thanking you for the blessing and the joy and all those that have been to this church and that are out in the community, Lord, that have been led to you through the leadership and guidance of Bob and what he has taught us in this church, and that is to make followers and disciples of Jesus Christ. That mission is the same mission today as it was when Bob first started here, Lord. We thank you for providing Josh and Kelly to be with us. We thank you for our pastoral team that will go forward and lead. And we thank you right now, Lord, for every single person that is here. Because we know, Lord, they're not here because it's by chance or, wow, maybe this is somewhere I should try. Lord, you're the creator, you're the master, you're the builder of all. So I thank you, I commend you, and I love you. Amen.
All right. Todd.
Right, okay. Since I can't see. Tomorrow, Josh starts as our lead pastor. His success...
Tomorrow. Change your schedule.
That's why I'm crying. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
His success in the future will always, it depends on us. And my tears are of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And tears for provision. And God gave us these great people. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually happy. Weird.
You are weird.
You are weird.
Well, yeah. You'll find that out. Don't worry. All right. But we have the best days ahead. All we need to do is work together, commit to God's mission and his place, and for the man and the woman that God has called to us. And be that person that God has called you to be. You are here. If you think, like I said, if you think you just walked in here like, oh, well, no. Every single one of you are here for a reason. You have a story. You're here for a reason. So don't take it light. Sorry, but you're here for a reason. So next week, Bob will be at the coffee house. He's going to have hours from, I know it sounds weird. You're retired, but here's your hours, just so you know. He'll be there from 11 to 2, Monday and Wednesday, and then from 5 to 7 on Tuesday. So again, 11 to 2 on Monday and Wednesday, if you'd like to talk to him, or from 5 to 7 on Tuesday. So now is the part we all been waiting for. I know Harper and Hadley have been. Time for the ice cream float. So let's go back, celebrate our new leadership, and thank and congratulate Bob and Colleen on their retirement and wish them the best. Thank you. Let's get this